Here.
Michael Reeves,
Present.
Eloy Salazar.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we do have a quorum.
Okay. I guess from this agenda in front of me, I'm running the meeting. So the next item is a safety briefing. And we'll call the meeting to order at 8:31.
Good morning, everyone. For the safety briefing, if there's an emergency, there's an exit by the kitchen to my immediate right and to the back of the board of directors room. You'll exit through the west doors, assemble at the clock tower adjacent to the transfer station. Dina will make sure that all board of directors are accounted for. I'll make sure that everybody's exit this room properly. Please do not return back to the building unless all clear has been given. Do not utilize the elevator during the emergency. And if we have to shelter in place, we will shelter in place on the west side stairwell. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Next item, do we have any receipt of conflict of interest? Dina?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay. The public comment?
No, sir, we do not, and none have been received from online.
Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on. A discussion and possible action to approve the admin and finance committee meeting minutes of August 26, 2020.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes as written.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Reeves, second by Allison. Never forget the last name. Okay, all right. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes. All right. Discussion and possible action to recommend the board of directors authorize the chief executive officer or designee to award a contract to Daily Wells Communications for mobile radio feature upgrade.
Good morning. Hopefully everybody's doing well this morning. My name is Robert Saldana, the Managing Director of Administration. This aligns up with our board priority of innovation. So CCRTA is part owner of our radio communication systems with the City of Corpus Christi, the Port of Corpus Christi, and Nueces County. This provides critical public safety and public safety communication throughout all of Nueces County and the surrounding areas. There has been a system upgrade that has to take place in order to continue to communicate, and it has to be updated to a P25. And as well as upgrading the tower that they need to do, we need to upgrade our radios that we have in our dispatch and on our buses to a P25 system. Here's the system users. The top four are the ones that have ownership of the tower: the City of Corpus Christi, the CCRTA, Nueces County, and the Port of Corpus Christi, all share in the ownership of the tower, as well as some of the other agencies that use this system as well. Kind of background, Daily Wells Communications is the only authorized L3 carrier for this, so they essentially have almost like a franchise for the area in here, so it's basically a sole source procurement for this. We have to upgrade to the P25 compliance so we can move forward and make sure that our radio systems are continue to be in good standing. This was released back in 1995, where all the systems were up and running. We've been having a little bit of problems because it's getting close to end of life, so with this upgrade, we'll get back to the beginning of life for it, and we can have a good system that we can use and reliable. The financial cost is about almost $97,496 for the radio system, and this is in our CIP budget for 2020 already. So at this time, staff requests the Administration and Finance Committee recommend the Board of Directors authorize the Chief Executive Officer or designee to award a contract to Daily Wells Communications for the mobile radio feature upgrade. And I'll take any questions you may have.
Any questions?
This is just for the service, or this is an upgrade on the equipment?
It's the upgrade of the equipment itself. We are also part of the CIP, have money set aside to upgrade the tower
Okay.
for it as well, but that's at a different stage.
And where's the tower located? Is that our?
Depending on where in the service area, you'll hook into a certain tower
Right.
in there, so.
Having heard the questions, this is Mike. I move with the staff recommendation as stated.
Second, I'll second the motion. Mrs. Eloy?
Any further discussion? Motion and a second. Call to roll, or all those in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. All right. Next item, discussion and possible action to recommend the Board of Directors authorize the Chief Executive Officer or designee to authorize staff to release a bundle service, RFP, to solicit proposals for portfolio management services for the CCRTA, defined benefit plan and trust, and the defined contribution plan and trust.
Okay, good morning. So this is, aligns up with the Board Transparency of Financial Transparency. Some of the background, because the CCRTA does not participate in Social Security, we have two different plans we have to try to make up the difference for that. The first is defined benefit plan and trust. Now this is the conventional when you think of a pension plan in here. So just for simple math, what we do is we take the last 3 years' salaries that you have, wages, and we take an average of that. So for simple math, if you made 90,000 one year, 100,000 next year, and the last year you made 110,000, your average last would be $100,000. If you worked here 20 years, we give you 2% a year for every year that you worked here. So you get 40% of that 100,000, you get $40,000 for the rest of your life for the defined benefit plan. Just kind of some simple math for that. And that's strictly RTA that pays for that. The employee does not pay for that portion of it here. We also then have defined contribution plan. Now what we do for that, and I'll show you that in a slide in a second here. Defined contribution plan in here, it's a participation based on, it's conditional of your employment. And what the RTA does, we put aside 7.51% of your earnings into another account to help make up some of the difference as well too. Now the RTA does allow you, and that's pre-tax. The RTA allows you to put up to 10%, so on your own you could decide I want to put another 2.49% in there post-tax into that account as well. But right now the RTA puts in there 7.51% of your wages. That plan is right now being administered by the Principal Financial Group, and that was Wells Fargo up to about a couple of months ago. They changed their name about 3 months ago to the Principal Financial Group. So historically, the RTA has outsourced the administration and the custodial duties to a third party who specializes in this field. We also select a plan based on recommendations from the Texas Pension Review Board. And they basically tell us you should have an RFP that goes out for 3 to 5 years so that you can have consistency in who's managing your portfolio plan. That gives you some price competition as well as a seamless transition so you're not transitioning too often from one plan management company to another. The scope of services right now is fairly limited to record keeping and administrative duties. There was a change in regulation now so that they can provide some investment advisory on the defined contribution side. So on the defined contribution, which is managed by the employee themselves, right now the employee they give you a list of plans that you can say where you want to select where you want to put your money in, and you wouldn't get any type of financial advice. And that's pretty hard for the average person not to know what plan looks at and analyze it and decide where you want to put it in there. So in the new RFP, we want to be able to expand it so that whoever the company is, whether it's this Wells Fargo or anybody else, they can provide some financial advice to that individual and help them make a better decision. The financial impact in there, this is paid by the earnings of the plan, so we don't really cut a check per se to them. They take it from the earnings of the plan itself. So at this time, staff requests the Administration and Finance Committee recommend the Board of Directors authorize staff to release a bundle services RFP to solicit proposals for portfolio management services for the RTA's defined benefit plan and trust and the 403 defined contribution plan and trust. And I'll take any questions you may have.
I have a question about why and have we always opted out of Social Security, that contribution?
Yes, ma'am. We have always been, at least to my knowledge of here, since we've been in existence since '86, we have opted out of Social Security.
I mean, I think that's fantastic myself. I honestly didn't know that was an option, so that's good to know.
Yes, ma'am.
Does the RTA match the
So,
employer part of
It's not a
what would be Social
401k.
Security?
Yeah, it's not a 401k where we do a matching type program in here. What the RTA does, it's and you don't have as many pension plans as a percentage of companies now that it used to be in the past. But we do more of a traditional pension plan in here where you get money for the rest of your life. So if I retired at 62 or 70, I would get, based on the contribution plan that we have, I'd get 2% for every year for the rest of my life, whether I live 1 year or I lived another 40 years. And then I'd have defined contribution side where I put that 7.51% or up to 10% aside as well to make up that difference. So it's not a matching. RTA puts it in themselves in the defined benefit side. The employee does not have to put anything else. That's strictly for the RTA that we do. And then the contribution side, we pull that 7.51 out of your salary each and every month or each and every pay period to put it aside.
Yeah, but we don't have a match per se like normal Social Security.
No, sir. Because we're a public agency, we don't do a 401k.
Okay. What is the, or do we not know yet what the cost of the administration of this price is?
It depends on where you finish at the end of the year, how many employees you have and everything else. So that's at the end of year calculation that we do for it. We don't do that really during the course of the year because our employee staffing and how much your wages are will fluctuate during the course of the year, depending on your hourly people and what your staff level is. So we don't have, at the beginning of the year, we have an estimated cost, but we don't have the cost of it itself.
Robert, I think his question was what the investment advice range of cost would be. I think
Oh,
that's what
okay.
he was getting at.
So that usually goes somewhere around, we pay around $36,000, $45,000, depending on what it is right there. Now, when we do some investment advisory, the cost will go up a little bit because now they're going to give a little more specialty advice on there. So we'll have to see what that comes in at when we do the RFP. But right now, there's no advice to the employee. It's just Wells Fargo managing the defined benefit plan and then the employee managing the contribution side plan.
Okay.
Glenn, historically, those are typically around 50 basis points or 0.5% of the plan assets, generally speaking.
Okay. Any further questions?
This is Mike. I'd just like to make a comment. This is such a critical plan, obviously, for our team. And I think it's our due diligence to make sure that we seek the RFP and protect that value and make sure that we're providing the best package for our employees and team. So I think we need to move forward on this.
I'm not sure. if
On that
there
note,
was
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I was gonna make the motion, but it sounds like Mike's done.
All right.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mike Reeves, second by Lynn Ellison. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Okay, next item. Discussion possible action to recommend the Board of Directors authorize the Chief Executive Officer or designee to issue a request for proposals for a bus and bench advertising contract for 3 years with one 2-year option.
Good morning. Since you
Good
said that
morning.
already, I'm not going to repeat myself, that.
Okay.
Our board priority is financial transparency. This contract is a revenue stream for RTA. The revenue comes from ad sales that consist of wraps on the outside of the buses, posters on the inside of the buses, bench ads, bus shelters, and transfer station signage. The bus and bench inventory consists of 70-plus buses at this time, 53 cutaways, and an additional 4 in Port Aransas. We have an estimated 727 bus benches, and 10 to 20 posters are available in each bus, depending on the size. And then we have 40 new toller shelters with ad benches that will be installed by the end of the year. The current contract was awarded in 2015 to Iconic Signs, LLC. It was a 3-year contract with 2 one-year options. And due to the impact of COVID-19, the stay-at-home order, we extended the contract from July 27th to December 31st. And that was approved by the board. The contractor is responsible for all production of advertisement, installment of the posters, wraps, and bus bench ads, and they also handle the removal of the graffiti and the general maintenance of the advertising. They're also responsible for all the advertisers' contracts and maintaining those. The Iconic financial agreement with RTA was the first 3 years was a 37% revenue with a minimum of $150,000. The first year option was again 37%, and the minimum was increased to $175,000. And then the final year was 37% again with a $200,000 minimum. Now, in 2019, we saw a lot of street construction going on, so we came back to the board, and the board approved a reduction in bus bench advertising due to the construction. You can see it on Everhart and various areas in the city, but it went from $200,000 to $180,000 being the minimum. Then COVID happened, and then the impact on advertising revenue again was impacted. So we temporarily lifted the minimum, took that off with Iconic Sign, and just took in the 37% revenue that they would generate. As you can see here, this is the revenue that we have received since 2015 from Iconic Sign. It's the bus advertising, the bench advertising, minus the city's portion, and then our net revenue. So you can see at the first year, we received $156,574, and then on down until this past year was $135,696. Now, we do share, like I said, with the city. They receive a third of our revenue. So every month, we send them a nice little check for a third of the revenue. And there is no DBE here. The RFP is a revenue-generated contract, thus it does not utilize any federal funds.
Excuse me, and Rita, we should note that the reason the city is receiving revenue is because all of these bus stops are on city right-of-way. That's a method of paying them for the use of all the right-of-way that belongs to the city.
Here I have listed a proposed timeline. If the board approves the RFP on October 7th, we will go out that day for the proposal. We will list it on our website, and we'll start taking proposals. And then as you see the dates, we go down and go through the whole process. We hope to present to the board for approval on December 2nd. And then if it is approved, then the new contract would begin in January. At this time, the staff requests the Administration and Finance Committee recommend the Board of Directors to authorize the Chief Executive Officer or his designatee to issue a request for proposals for a bus and bench advertising contract for 3 years with a 1-2-year option.
Rita, when does this current contract expire?
It officially expires on December 31st because we did an extension when we were going to go out for the RFP in February. You remember COVID started. We were real concerned that we would not have anyone be able to come and do the bid process. So we came to you guys and we did an extension till December 31st.
How long is the typical RFP process?
It is,
Not in the proposed one right
this
here,
is,
but
this is the typical process. It's,
a 2-week window?
no, it's,
This is October 7th, and the submission deadline is,
no,
October
they can
28th?
begin the process to submit the RFP then.
right, I'm sorry, can you go back to the last slide then? And then, Dina, can you move the go-to viewer over to the other side so we can, or to the middle? So 3-week process? Is that typical? That seems pretty fast to try to get responses from more than one vendor.
Well, the RFP would just be issued and then they could start the process. And this would be.
Right. What I'm just saying is it looks like the submission deadline on that, giving it only a 3-week turnaround, it seems like there's hardly time for people to know that the RFP is out there, let alone put together bids from more than one group. Is there flexibility in extending that deadline potentially?
I mean,
The proposal submission deadline is November 18th. So you'll send it out October 7th. It just says RFP submission deadline so many times on it, but really on there, when you take a look at it, it says proposal submission deadline is November 18th.
Okay. So what's the submission, what's the October 28th date?
So typically what happens in here, you submit it on October 7th. 2 weeks after that, you have a pre-proposal meeting. Give everybody a chance to see the RFP, read it, evaluate it, and come to a pre-proposal meeting so that you can have some questions that you can answer to make sure the process goes smooth. From there, you have usually about 4 weeks where you have a chance to write up your RFP, so we don't put so much pressure on them to turn it in real fast, and you have enough time for people to submit and have competition. So it's usually about 6 weeks, 45 days for the process.
So my question is just, what's the October 28th deadline there? Is that just a typo?
I think it's probably, yeah, so it should have said RFIs, for them to submit RFIs to us, request information, say, page 18 of this, you say it's 3%, is that what you
Yeah.
really mean? And then we have another week to respond back to them, and then they have time periods after RFIs.
Got it. So that's just a typo.
Yes, sir.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question, Rita.
So just to clarify, this is Mike. Robert, I understand that. So the 28th would be ideally the final time period to ask any questions to our committee, correct?
Yes, sir. And then between the 28th and the 18th, you have time to write up your RFP and draft a proposal.
Clear. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I have a question as well. I'm sorry, once again. Do we know if the incumbent is still interested in submitting at this point? Have they shown interest in that, or with the way things have happened over the life of this contract?
yes,
Are
sir,
they moving away
are.
from this, or do we know?
Yes,
They
sir.
are?
Yes, they are.
Okay, thank you. Just curious.
Rita, Mike asked part of my question there, but to expand upon that question, despite the ups and downs with the pandemic and just the changes in our taller shelters and the bus benches, I feel like you've been pleased overall with Iconic.
I have.
Okay, and then my next question, I presume they're aware of the 40 new shelters and advertising benches that are coming online.
They are. We did install one. Sharon's team had one installed this past week.
Okay.
And Ray from Iconic Sign did go out there and take pictures and measurements to ensure that he knew what the size was. He wanted to physically see it and touch it. So, yes, he's aware of all of these.
Is that the same as what was the ribbon cutting we did at the?
It is a
Hector P.
smaller
Garcia?
version of
Okay.
that.
And
Yes.
then, does that include, so the monitors on those shelters are just for the passengers to follow the time of the arrival and departure? Those monitors aren't for advertising?
No. And the new 40 tollers, I don't believe have the monitors. No,
Oh,
they do
okay.
not have monitors.
And then, buses that are phasing out, we're gonna phase from 70 to 63. That's regardless of that number going down, we
Yeah.
still anticipate the same.
Yeah, and,
you know. Okay.
That change, it reflects that our trolleys currently are phased to go out of service, and that, but we just presented the numbers to them, what it could happen as we look at transitioning to new service levels, smaller vehicles, things like that. Because our goal is to have a smaller fleet that's a little more agile and adaptable.
Thank you. Okay, appreciate it. So,
Any
Mr. Chairman.
further discussion? Do I hear a motion?
Yes, sir. I propose that we move forward with Rita pursuing the RFPs for the advertising contract.
Do I have a motion?
I'll
Do I have
second the
a
motion. This is Eloy. I'll second the motion.
Eloy,
Yes.
any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
thank you.
Okay, we're gonna adjourn the admin meeting at 8:58 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Does anybody need a biological break before we start the operations meeting? All right.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question for you. Are you going to be able to chair the budgetary meeting directly after this?
As I told Eddie, I got a call at 9:30. So
Okay.
He said maybe 10 for him, so, we might have to pass the chair down. If that makes sense.
It does. Well, in lieu of that, I will make arrangements to stick around and chair if necessary.
I appreciate it, Mike.
Yes, sir.
And Miss Dina, if you can let me know when everybody's back, then we can call the roll. I'm sorry? We are good to go. Good to go, all right. So I'm gonna open the operations committee meeting at, I have straight up 9 a.m. Would you please call the roll, Dina? Present.
I got it.
Here.
Present.
Present.
Thank you. Number 2, safety meeting, Mr. Rendon.
Good morning again for a safety briefing. Director of Security, Mike Rendon. If there's an emergency during this meeting, there's 3 exits to this Board of Directors room. It's the kitchen, my immediate right, and the rear part of this room. Directors will report to the clock tower. Dina will make sure that everybody's accounted for. I'll make sure everybody exits properly. During the emergency, please do not utilize the elevator. Do not return back to the building unless all clear. And if we have to shelter in place, we'll shelter in the west side stairwell. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rendon. Agenda item 3, do we have any conflict of interest affidavits?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman, we do not.
Thank you. Agenda item 4, opportunity for public comment. If I can, before we get there, if I can ask all the directors, since this is being recorded, to please state your name before you start talking. And also to please state your name when making a motion or a second. Thank you. Okay, opportunity for public comment. Any public comment? Okay, thank you, ma'am. All right. right, since we had no quorum, I did have a question here, and this might be for Jorge. We didn't have any official minutes, since we didn't take any official action, since we didn't have a quorum. Do we still need to vote on the meeting minutes?
I would suggest that we do record a vote on the minutes, just so that we have action confirming what took place.
Okay. Having heard that, I'll entertain a motion.
Second, Ana Jimenez.
Who is the first?
Oh, sorry, I guess that would be,
I know
Okay,
you'll
well, I'll
be,
get first or second, whichever you need.
all right, thank you.
This is Philip.
All right, I have a motion by Ms. Anna, a second by Mr. Phillip. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state by saying aye.
Aye.
I heard one aye. I guess everybody's on mute.
Aye.
Aye again.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Agenda item 6, discussion and possible action to recommend the Board of Directors authorize the Chief Executive Officer designee to authorize issuing an invitation for bids for maintenance uniform rental service. Derek, it looks like you're up. If you're there.
Good morning, everyone. This is Derek Majak. So the board priority for this item is public image and transparency. The maintenance uniform rental services, the current contract was approved by the board on December 7th of 2016, and it provides services to approximately 60 CCRTA employees, and that includes facility maintenance, vehicle maintenance, garage service technicians, along with the janitorial and materials management staff. Each employee receives 11 sets of shirts and pants, and all garments are furnished, laundered, maintained, picked up, and delivered to the RTA facility at Bear Lane by the contractor on a weekly basis. Lockers, safety mats, and shop towels are also part of this service. The maintenance uniform rental service agreement helps to maintain a consistent and professional appearance, maintain firm pricing, and our current 2-year base contract expired on December 12th, and we're on a 2-year option that expires December 12th of 2020. DBE staff will collaborate with the successful bidder to pursue DBE participation, but this is locally funded. The financial impact, the estimated annual amount of the contract is $60,000, but expenditures will be determined by actual usage. It's accounted for in the annual operating budgets, and as I mentioned, it's locally funded. And we're seeking a 3-year base contract with the 2-year option following board approval. With that, staff requests the Operations and Capital Projects Committee recommend the Board of Directors authorize the Chief Executive Officer or designee to approve issuing an invitation for bids for maintenance uniform rental services. Any questions?
Just one.
Any questions?
Yeah, so these are cleaned weekly?
Yes, what it is they generally will pick up 5 uniforms at a time. Then the employee has 1 that they're wearing, and then there's 5 that will remain in the lockers for the use for that week. So,
And then they get cleaned the next week?
yeah, and then if they find repairs, because it's maintenance, so things get damaged, if they find things that need to be repaired, they'll repair the jeans or shirts as needed as well.
Okay, I'm good. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Matt.
Dan, this is Matt. I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Director Wilbright. Do I have a second?
Second, Philip.
Got a second, Director Skobarsky. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, agenda item 7, discussion and possible action to recommend the Board of Directors authorize the Chief Executive Officer designee to exercise the last option year with Evergreen Lawn and Landscape for bus stop cleaning services.
My name is Sharon Montez, and I am the Managing Director of Capital Programs and Customer Services. Good morning, and I hope everyone is doing very well this morning. This morning, I am here to
Good
present.
morning, Sharon.
Good morning, sir.
This morning, I am here to present a recommendation to exercise the last option year with Evergreen Lawn and Landscaping for bus stop cleaning services. The service aligns with CCRTA's board priorities for public image and facilities. Just some background information. Back in 2013, the board developed a capital initiative for adding additional trash receptacles. The city at that point in time was developing a litter campaign, and we partnered with the city. Currently, at that point in time, we had 150 trash receptacles in the service area. We added another 710, and so we have a total of 860. Excuse me. Just some other additional information. We have 1,341 bus stops in our service area. We have 198 bus stop shelters. We cover an 838 square miles for our service area. As I mentioned earlier, we have 860 trash receptacles. There are 9 cities in our service area, and we meet 2 goals by continuing with this process, which is enhancing public image and providing a clean waiting area for our riders. The scope of services include weekly inspections of all bus stops, weekly pickup of trash and litter removal, graffiti removal on the shelters, trash receptacles, tree trimming around our bus stops and to protect our buses, lawn maintenance, weed, ant prevention at stops. When we initially issued the bid, it was a 3-year base contract with 2 one-year options. The RFP was issued September 27, 2016. We held our pre-proposal on October 11, 2016. We did have 6 companies attend the pre-proposal, and 4 proposals were received. Evergreen Lawn and Landscape did end up with the highest score at 83.56. And just to include some additional information in all of our RFPs, IFBs, so forth, we have a standard service and conditions that we include in the language. And just to include and explain what some of those are, I've listed them. Have adequate financial resources or the ability to obtain such resources as required during the performance of the contract. Have a satisfactory record of past performance. Have necessary management and technical capability to perform. Be qualified and as an established firm, regularly engaged in the type of business to perform the contract required. Be otherwise qualified and eligible to receive an award under applicable federal, state, county, or municipal laws and regulations. Certify that it is not on the U.S. Comptroller's general list of ineligible contractors. And a proposal may be requested to submit written evidence verifying that it meets the minimum criteria. Refusal to provide that information shall result in the proposer being declared non-responsible. Also, contractor shall maintain at all times during the term of this contract at its sole cost and expense each of the following insurance coverages: commercial general liability insurance with minimum policy limits of $1 million, as well as automobile liability insurance with a combined single limit of $1 million. Also, contractor shall maintain at all times during the terms of this contract at its sole cost and expense workers' compensation with a policy limit of $300,000. It was evaluated on an approach work plan, experience, qualifications and references, and the cost. Evergreen Lawn and Landscape leads in the area of specific experience, and they've been in business 22 years. Some of their clients include La Palmera Mall, Corpus Christi Housing Authority, First Community Banks, and CCRTA, and they have performed in a very satisfactory and timely manner. This is the last option year. The cost is $374,367.50, and they have maintained this cost over the term of the life of the contract. Therefore, staff requests the Operations and Capital Projects Committee recommend the Board of Directors authorize the chief executive officer or designate to exercise the last option year to Evergreen Lawn and Landscape for bus stop cleaning services in an amount not to exceed $374,267.50. And that concludes my presentation, sir.
Thank you, Sharon. Any questions for Sharon? Going once, twice. All right, any discussion? I have one, if there's no discussion, I have one quick question, Sharon. This is separate and apart from the COVID cleaning of the bus stops, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. Yes, sir.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, Philip.
Second, Ana Jimenez.
Thank you, Anna. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please state by saying aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you for your support.
Is there any? Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sharon. Is there any further business in front of the Operations Committee? Hearing none, I'll adjourn the meeting at, what does it say in the room down there?
9:13.
9:13. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Mike, are you still on, or you want me to chair it between now and 9:30?
Dan, if you're prepared to move forward, go ahead. If not, I'll be happy to take over. It's your call. You need to run?
Well, go ahead and take over. That way we don't have to do a handoff at 9:30.
No problem.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Do we need a little break? I only see Director Salazar's picture up there.
I'm gonna take a break too.
Let's take a 5-minute break, everyone. Miss Dina, please call me on the cell phone. number 5 to order. If we may, please tune in if you're virtual. Please take a seat if you're in person. The time is now 9:23 a.m. on September 23rd. Budget workshop number 5. Mr. Robert, you have the microphone.
Good morning. Robert Saldana, Managing Director of Administration. So out of profound respect for everybody's time today, I'm going to go straight to questions. I will take whatever questions you have. No, Gordon, you weren't able to say a joke today, so I thought I'd start off that way. Thank you. All right. So this budget workshop aligns with, like most things that we do around here, financial transparency. So far to date, we've had 4 budget workshops ranging from trends and analysis through various department workshops. We are here for budget workshop today, number 5. This is scheduled for 6 budget workshops. October 28th, we do our first public hearing. It's an evening session where we have a chance for the public to come in and contribute to the workshop. During the budget board meeting in November, we have our second public hearing, which is our first chance to adopt our budget. If for some reason there's some outstanding questions still, we could have a 7th budget workshop on the 27th of November. And then the last scheduled board meeting of the year would be the final scheduled time for us to adopt the budget in 2020. So budget workshop 1, we've gone over regional economic trends, assumptions, and gave a revenue projection. Budget workshop 2, we went over the administration budgets, which includes MIS, our IT department, procurement department, finance and accounting, and administration. And we try to group these according to the managing directors and give them all his or her departments under one workshop. Budget workshop 3 is the CEO and the directors that directly report to him. It's our CEO's budget, our HR department, marketing communications, and safety and security. Budget workshop 4 was our customer service and our capital projects, which would be a customer service, our facilities management, capital improvements, and our Staple Street Center. Today, budget workshop 5 is the operating budgets, which would be the transportation department, purchase transportation, service development, our planning department, vehicle maintenance, and materials management. Budget workshop 6 is our ancillary items that we have, which would be our subrecipient agreements, which is our 5310 grant monies, our street maintenance, which usually runs about $2.8 to about $3.1 million, depending on how sales tax does for that year. And that's the monies we give back to the various member cities for the use of the streets. Our capital 2020 capital budget, our 5-year service plan, our 5-year CIP to support the service plan, and our 5-year financial plan to support that service plan as well. And then we do an overview of all the budgets. So for today, our operations budgets consist of 5 departments, about $22.7 million, or 65% of our operating budget. And our operating expenses is about $34.6 million. So again, 22.7 of $34.6 million. Here's just kind of a pie chart of each one. Budget workshop 2, which was the admin budget's about 8.9%. Budget workshop 3, the CEO's budget, about 11.5%. Budget workshop 4, capital projects and customer service, about 13.9%. And then the other portions are the operating budgets. Some of the highlights for the transportation department: to promote safe and work environments for the operators, employees, and our passengers. Provide training and refresher training for our operator trainees and our operators. Continue to improve organizational practices and develop staff. Operate 24 fixed routes, which would include a pilot route for Route 66, which is a crosstown shuttle. From those 24 routes, we would support about 3.6 million passenger trips, and this is an estimate. About 216,000 hours of service, and about 3 million miles. We do it all, 170 employees this year, and we're proposing 170 FTEs next year. So for the Transportation Department, if you could see in 2020, we had a budget of $10.15 million. We're proposing a budget of a little under $10 million at $9,923,999. So a reduction of about 2.31%, or $234,675 reduction from 20 to 21. Most of it you can see is salaries and benefits driven. So here's kind of a line item breakdown. Salaries and wages for strictly the operators. Last year was about 5.47 million. We're proposing 5.18 million. This includes a 6% increase on average. But because of reduced amount of services and us finishing the routes about 8 o'clock projecting for next year as well, that'll reduce the amount of service hours. So it'll reduce our overall cost about $285,000 for just operators. And this will be the driving theme for all of the reductions of this departments and these 5 departments for this next budget workshop for this coming year. Salaries and wages of others, which would be supervisors, dispatchers, road monitors, 1.1 million last year, 1.2, about $73,000 difference. Overtime.
Excuse me, Robert?
Yes, sir.
This is Mike. Robert, for sake of time and can we move through and not do each individual line item, please, and just focus on the main highlights as you're doing?
That would be no
If
problem,
anyone
sir.
has any questions on the board, we can do that. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. If I'm going too fast, let me know. I want to make sure I don't cut out something that you might feel is important to you as an individual. So if I go, I'll just kind of go with some highlights. The salaries and benefits, $10 million to 9.8, about $231,000 savings between salaries and benefits. Again, and most of it driven down to reduction of some service. Our materials and supplies from 60,000, almost 61,000, down to about 55.6, 5.3, a $5,320 difference. Communications is just some tablets that we have for the supervisors on the road monitors. Our utilities will go up slightly by $2,000, and the overall net effect is about a $234,675 difference between budget 2020 and 2021. Again, most of that's driven down by some reduction in service due to COVID and the lasting effects of COVID. Any questions on transportation? Okay. Purchase Transportation 03. Some of the highlights: continue the operating of the shuttle. Operate our 95 Port Aransas Express from October 28th from May 28th to October 3rd. About 1,780 hours and about 40,000 miles. And this is for the 95. We're going to implement new service for Calallen, Annaville, and Tolosa Midway areas. So we'll have about 260,000 passenger trips for the fixed routes that the paratransit, the Beeline will run. About 35,000 hours of service, about 700,000 miles. For Beeline itself, about 196,000 trips, about 81,000 service hours, and about 1.4, 1.5 million miles that they'll run. All this is about 100 to 105 people that this budget supports from NV. As you can see, the reduction of hours will have a net effect of about $861,428 savings. Here's the various line items, and this is broken down more by routes as opposed to salaries and benefits. But the $861,000 is mostly route savings in there due to, again, reduction of some service.
Robert, just out of curiosity, the autonomous vehicle service,
Yes, sir.
Was that impacted at all by the fact the school was shut down for half the year?
Well, we have a contract that has specified costs, so whether we run 1 hour or you run the whole time of the service, we pay for the same amount. Now, when school shut down, we're still running some service out there depending on the weather and what it goes. The ridership is low because obviously they're not having many students out there to school, but the service is still running out there.
So the cost that we're reimbursing MV on the autonomous service is not reflective of their actual cost?
It's reflective of the agreed upon cost in the contract in there. It's not a per passenger cost. So whether we have riders or not, it's an X amount stated cost in there.
Okay. And what is our process for reviewing that, given, I mean, we talked about, when we first approved that, we talked about what ridership would look like? What's kind of the process there?
So we're always analyzing the ridership and looking at the hours and what we could do. So when we agreed upon this contract in here, we agreed upon to a 2-year contract. So our costs are as is. Now, we could always reduce it, but the cost of the vehicle was always going to be a constant. There could be some other cost savings from it in there, but it's a 2-year program, which we agreed upon doing. And
That 2-year program expires when?
end of next year, at some point in time in there.
End of next school year? So.
The next, I would say December 31st, somewhere around there, 2021.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Anybody have any questions on purchase transportation? Service
Thank you, Robert.
I'm sorry. Did I have a question? All right, sir. So service development, see, we're going to continue to evaluate 2020, our surveys that we do, and based on those surveys, we'll have some suggested improvements. Support our fare structure when we start to relook at that again post-corona and the economy getting better again. Monitor Del Mar South Campus as well as Carroll in the timelines to make sure that we are making sure those stops are up and running for them. Coordinate with the NTD where we report all our data to, and that is based on, they use that information to give us our grant information for it. Continue to monitor construction of our impacts for that construction and make long-term decisions based on detours. Support customer service information for trip planning and participate development of training and enhance for the staff. We did that with 5 people last year. We continue to do it 5 this year. Most of this is salary driven in this department. $453,000 last year, $470,000 this year, and it's just a matter of raises for that. A reduction of $51,000 in services. Again, salary is about almost 82% of this department. $18,000 is the increase in salaries. On average, we give about 6%. We're budgeting for. Everything else is pretty much the same. Pension goes down a little bit, some cost savings here and there. The other professional services agreement, we had a travel demand model with the city of Corpus Christi that was at one time, so it was some savings from that. That's why the reduction of the $52,000. Contract and maintenance is going up a marginal due to some contractual increases that are built into the contract. And as you can see, everything else basically stays the same as far as travel, advertisement, dues, and subscriptions. So net effect for this department is a reduction of about $33,437, or a 5.5% reduction. Any questions for service development? Okay. Department 11 vehicle maintenance, we want to support a higher level of cleaning for the COVID to ensure safety of our riders and operators. We're going to increase our materials and supplies that we're using, the mask on the buses, the sanitizer, and the cleaning of the buses on a nightly basis. Continue with our engine overhaul replacement program, and continue our training programs for our department. This is done with 37 people last year, or this year, and we're proposing the same 37 people next year. Overall, we had about $5.7 million last year, about $5.76 million this year, about a $30,000 increase. And again, most of that's due to salary increases. Salary is about 49% of this department. Materials and supplies to keep the buses running about 41%. Some services that we purchase parts on is about 6.7%. Then utilities and miscellaneous. So you can see the increase of $155,000 for salaries. There's a $20,000 reduction due to tuition reimbursement. We had a mentorship or a apprenticeship program in there that we're reducing because we're fully staffed now, so that we won't need that next year. So the net effect is about $143,000 increase. Because of reduced service levels and reduced miles, we have a reduced level of contracted maintenance, so about $7,000 from that. A reduction of fuel and lubricants because the miles that we are driving should be a little less to tires and repair parts. The vehicle maintenance man is a 137% increase, and that's mostly due to the COVID supplies that we're going to keep on the bus, the mask, the hand sanitizer, and those. That's an increase for this year just for safety reasons. Between the salaries the COVID supplies, and then the savings of fuel and lubricants and fuel, you'll see the $30,000 net increase for that. Any questions? Vehicle maintenance. Okay, materials management. We review our parts and streamline our ordering methods. Continue to maintain and stock our levels of COVID supplies that we have on hand for both our passengers and our employees. Continue to reconfigure our storage area to make best usage of our environment. Professional staff development, and continue to review products and inventories for possible technology improvements. This is a small department of 3, last year, this year, and next year. Modest increase in salaries, $7,676. Material and supplies staying the same. Salaries is 99% of this department. And here's just the line items. Again, the salary is a $7,500 increase, and that's the majority of the increases of $7,676 for the departments. Everything else is pretty much the same from 20 to 2021.
Quick question, this might be a Jorge
Yes, sir.
question. Under the highlights, you said this is the area where we look at technology improvements, is that correct?
It's technology improvements for the operations area out there.
Okay, only for the operations
Inventory,
area.
receiving, to making sure that we're not just manually counting by hand. We're trying to use technology to do some more inventory levels.
We've looked at, or we've talked about at least over the last couple of years, some sort of a credit card payment or a digital payment method on the buses. Where would that, if we wanted to do more of an in-depth look at the feasibility of that, where would that go?
Our IT department will drive that, and that'll go through our CIP for that, capital improvement projects. We are looking at something like that right now. We are looking at, in fact, I myself was just on a webinar yesterday for that. We have other webinars scheduled in here. It range from a mobile app, equipment that you would put on a bus to scan from your phone, and it would pick it up like an RFID type of in there. It will help count passengers when you're getting off and on. So we're looking at all that now. We have to look at what we as a group are looking to do, because our fares are so low here, that's going to eat into our fare revenue. Sure. And our fare revenue is obviously driving payment of our bonds, and we want to make sure that we are able to sustain that. So we're just trying to look at that. A lot of times when we did this a while back, there was going to be a 7% increase of cost. So for every transaction we did, they took 7% of that transaction for a fee. And if we don't hit a minimum amount, they would hit a monthly fee as well. So we're in the process of analyzing that right now and trying to decide which way do we go.
Okay.
One of the situations that can help us make this easier to do with our customers is to look at that at this time when our ridership, unfortunately, is lower. Might be a better time to look at see if we can bring this up sooner versus later.
I mean, I think the vast majority of people are willing to pay a convenience fee if it's negligible. And if you're talking about 7% of a 85-cent fee, I don't think most people are going to notice that.
And we're also looking at some interim things driven by our CEO. We're looking at some TVMs, ticket vending machines, that we possibly could look at putting at different stations to minimize the contact of our customer service with the passengers out there that are buying daily, weekly, monthly passes. And you'd buy your passes on at the station itself, and then you'll speed up the buses by just sliding a pass through. That's kind of a step one before you go to like a mobile app or something else like that.
And what's our timeline, potentially?
There's no specified saying hard date timeline, but it's something that we're looking at. The costs were not going to say outrageous. For our agency our size, they were pretty high. We're looking at other options right now, which are coming a little bit more in line. So we're hoping to do something in this next coming year, at least with ticket vending machines. So kind of a summary, the 5 departments altogether, we had a budget of almost $23.8 million. We're looking at $22.7 million, about a $1.1 million savings at almost 4.6%, which is a really good job by the operations department to streamline this. I'll answer any questions you may have.
Robert, is it fair to say that the next budget workshop session would be we're going to go ahead and cover the remaining portions of it and give a combined look at where things are shaping up to be next year?
Yeah, so typically budget workshop 6, we only go over the remaining items in there, and then when we do an adoption of budget, we do an overview, but I can give you an overview a kind of a generalized overview of where we stand and we think revenues. We did some adjustments due to what sales tax has been doing. So we'll give you a revenue projection and an expense projection out of there for the next Budget Workshop 6, which will be at the board meeting coming up here on October 7th. If there aren't any other questions, that kind of summarizes our Budget Workshop 5 here. If there's not any questions, I'll leave it at the board's hands to either continue or do what you want to do.
Robert, I want to thank you and the team for putting all these budget workshop slides together and illustrating our plan. I do have a question, and if this has been asked well before in the other budget workshops, I apologize on my behalf, but just wanted to find out, does the CARES Act have any play with us on seeking reimbursement for some of the COVID-related supplies,
So,
since we're a government entity?
yes, sir. So we are going to receive $16.3 million in the CARES Act monies. At least that's what the first round does. I don't know if there's going to be a second round or what they're looking at right now. But $16.3 million, and that we've dedicated $15.3 million to manage and pay for our operational expenses and $1 million for capital. So whether it's loss of sales tax, if it's paying people extra to work from home, whether it's buying all these masks and sanitizers and all that, we're getting $15.3 million for that operational side of expenses in there. So this year, just to give a little bit of insight of what we're going at, we're going to have between sales tax, because it was fairly healthy this year, we're going to have an excess revenue from expenses we're projecting for 2020. Now, that depends what we do for the next 3.5 months, how the year comes out here. But we expect a revenue excess that will make up for a shortfall in revenue next year. So the CARES Act is getting us over the hump with a little to help out for next year as well.
Okay, excellent. Just wanted to ask that for peace of mind. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody else on the board have any questions for Robert or staff related to the workshop? Hearing none. Mr. Jorge, do you have any other further comments or questions?
No, I just appreciate everyone's participation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everyone.
guys.
Hereby adjourn the budget workshop number 5 at 9:45 a.m. Thank you all for attending.
Thanks.